players on both of these teams here. Of course, sqweeeg has Candy, Vanoct, Arm on Tosaku. I think Candy and Vanoct, well known to be playing together a lot of the time, and also had a really strong showing in the NA League, I believe, on one of those first practice
Mhm.
one of those practice go around. So of course they are not new to having a higher stage. And then of course we also have, I'm recognizing Ori, which if you are a lover of guides, definitely probably have seen one of those. But we're gonna jump right into it, starting off with these builds. What are we thinking, Joe Ryan?
Well, looking at it, we're going to be seeing some kind of usual content we're seeing nowadays in every Splatoon 3 come out in 2025. We are going to be seeing the edit, we're seeing the Sasha, we're seeing Junior, but surprisingly, we're seeing a 96 scout. If anyone knows about Ichiko, that's a little bit of a connective right there, but we did see how strong it was during the piling for earlier today as well. While for the side of sqweeeg, which sqweeeg is not actually on the roster surprisingly. For that team, we do have the 52 gal and double slosher and pencil. We actually never saw double slosher in 2025, and like unless we were back in early 2025.
Yeah, it is quite interesting to see both of those sloshers kind of go off. I have to wonder why it is necessarily they're choosing to do so, because I feel like you only really see a double of a weapon when you're just waist deep in the meta. You remember when you saw maybe sometimes 2 BPs for that jet, or the double sort of splash, or something like that. But yeah, it seems as though right now the double slosher not exactly working for sqweeeg. They do get wiped out here, and of course members of See It Now gonna push up to that ramp and see how long they can keep them locked in their own spawn.
Yeah, I was going to be seeing the paint difference just on this camera view as well. Just all the zone and basically all the map behind you now is all going to be covered. But now we're going to be seeing the double slosher, the double tri-strike in play as well. But with the single tri-strike as well, it does save See It Now with the bubble coming in play as well. So with that, we're going to be seeing 37 penalty or ticks remaining for the side of See It Now, with sqweeeg getting the double slosher down again and the jump as well. Only 25 seconds remaining.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems as though See It Now really banking on just scattering and staggering sqweeeg at this point. As you mentioned, we did see those strikes. They do come out here. They put the zone in neutral, but not enough to cap over it. And I think that is just going to be it, with a clean break there from See It Now. Obviously, those second set of strikes come out, but not fast enough to put that in neutral or flip the zone. So despite all of the strikes that they had on their side, See It Now coming out with the win in this first game here.
Mm-hmm. And also, like the mention about Sienna as well. When you said about Ori and mentioning them, we do see SCA Baby actually in the roster as well. See, SCA actually has been around for a long time as well, and I think playing a bit Ori time to time. But I think it's been a while since they came back. But when you were saying about sqweeeg with Candy and Vanoct, surprisingly, as we saw in the game, Vanoct isn't here. But Candy is still alive with Arm onto Saku. So it's going to be a little bit weird seeing that. Well, actually, if I'm thinking correctly, sqweeeg might be SCA Baby maybe, so, or Payton. I think they might be Payton. Yeah, they are Payton actually, because it's going by
Yeah.
Discord names. But yeah, See It Now, they have more synergy because they are like an OG team and OG people from the past. But for sqweeeg's, they are a little bit of a new gen from 2024. That's actually a little bit of a difference there too.
Yeah, I think, well, firstly, I think I'm wondering if the SCA is actually just SZA, like a reference to the artist SZA, and perhaps just a big fan of SZA there. But yeah, as you mentioned, Vanoct noticeably missing. I think this is why we're seeing a little bit of an interesting comp in terms of that double V slosh rather than Vanoct, of course, very well known to be on a stamper, which I think as a midline couples well with the other weapons we saw. But I'm curious to see if going into the next stage, Clam Scorch, if we're going to see a repeat of that, or if they recognize that having the double strikes not necessarily the most helpful for them. Honestly, I think strikes are really strong to go here, because of course there's that choke point, that ramp that you want to get up before you reach basket. But having 2 of them, I don't know how helpful that's going to be here.
Yeah, because now that we're going to Clampets and Scorch Gorge, it's going to be a completely different map mode combo as well. And again, once again, referencing to Pounding Pool only today, because as a Tapple stream, I had to. We did see a Pounding Pool game earlier today, going all the way down to the wire. And also, we did see almost an Oko last time. So, seeing with the comps that we're having right now, it is seeing that for see it now, their comp is going to be helping a lot more, but for the side of sqweeeg, they're bringing back double slosher comp.
Yeah, very interesting here. And of course, they also have that shot for Azuka, so it seems as though sqweeeg really out for blood when you look at what they have. Almost all of their specials, the ones, of course, that are not cooler, are just completely aggressive. So it seems like the game plan is really to run people down, and I think perhaps paying back a little bit in dividends. They are able to get 3 people down. Saku, of course, just kind of putting down that chip on Toast with this really strong flank to the left there, but it seems as though they just don't have the clam economy to open that basket and capitalize off of that pick. So despite, I think, getting those kills there, just not really going to do anything with it.
And just when you said saying about the kills, we do see a double going to the side of sqweeeg's advantage, but immediately right after that, it's going to be a trade. So honestly, Saucy, we're seeing just a big stalemate in the middle of the map, which is usually happening in Sports Clan plays because it's just a really big map. And like you said about the economy, it's really spread out because nobody picked up the clamps on the middle, on the top snipes, as we see candidates, but they immediately just died. We just see more map advantage, and that's what we want to see really in the map in general. But if it was Rainmaker, they wouldn't be pushing all the way. But now that we finally see a ball coming in from the side of See It Now, they honestly pop it in, and I think Oi fell off the map.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, I would argue, Dorian, that rather than large, this can be kind of a small map. Like, in general, it's large, but everything kind of happens in mid, which is just so cramped. You see, unfortunately, that ball is going to be thrown, as is the hammer, which leads them into a wipeout, but they're just not able to reach that ball, so they're going to have to get another one, wait for the basket to go back down so they can probably get past that 60-point mark as they do, down to 48. So really strong showing here. See It Now doing a great job of holding their space in sqweeeg's flat, but you know, they have to be careful not to completely stagger, especially with 3 of their people down, because if they don't play their cards right, they might have sqweeeg right under their basket before they know it.
Yeah, honestly, it still is a little bit confusing for some people that we see sqweeeg on the screen and the orange just still on the snipe area while sqweeeg is in blue altogether as a team. But Smile actually goes down, aka Snibber, thinking correctly on toes. But we're going to see sqweeeg actually might be dead. Okay, they are dead on the strikes, but as you said before, Saucy, there is no economy for inside of sqweeeg right now. There's only one person, which is the shot, Candy, having only a single gun, but getting a good headshot actually on Smile once again. It's going to be locked in down the blaster as we're going to be seeing a little bit more control, as you said, on this small map. And like you did actually say, being cadets, we are seeing them all cadets in the mid area.
Yeah, absolutely. Candy just putting down that paint to make sure that they have control of that mid. That's one of the hugest things that you can do on Scorch, is just deny them the space and the area to really take mid and become a threat. Arm just diving in there, getting punished for it as sqweeeg, the player on See It Now, just kind of painting around, I think, here on that splash. Gonna get out of there with the jump out. Saku just barely trying to get out of there, doesn't happen, and I think now it's just turned into an all-out bloodbath, a skirmish between both of those teams, and we're just kind of waiting for the dust to settle to see who it is that's able to get control of mid, and ultimately it seems like it's See It Now. So sqweeeg once again on the back foot, Candy getting a pick, but we just have about a minute left. They're going to have to get more than just picks if they want to get the W here.
Yeah, funny enough, actually, as well. If you can see, just we saw in the last video of the map, but mostly on Candy's side, that we saw that Candy is the main slayer of the whole group, off inside of Saku and the other slosher. Oi and we say Saku off the map again. GG's. But the main thing is, with Oi and Saku, what they were doing are mostly they are just the supporters to actually go into the battle, waiting for Candy to have them fall all the way in. While all of them left are just painting the map, while for the side of See It Now, this main paint of the map is sqweeeg with the rain, and that's why they picked it up, and also with the slosher as well, with the fact that just to help it forward to go all the way into the basket, which we saw in the first pick actually, and the Petal being the support for both ends. But surprisingly for CN now, though, we do see the edit coming out, and with that edit being the main like Gowling gun kind of weapon, you can just be the main methods, which we do see here already. But even though it's 2 down for CN now, 6 seconds left, we are going to be seeing no transfer speeds.
Oh, and that was not a great pick to happen there. They went down with their strikes, which they definitely needed to walk. It is just Saku, like it kind of has been the entire game, down, leading into a delayed wipe. And I think that's just going to be about it. Of course, they're still fighting for their own plat, but at this point, they're just really staggering, and OT comes to a close, giving See It Now that 2-0 here. But ultimately, a really dominant game, seeing as though they were able to deny sqweeeg even the opportunity really to score on their basket.
Literally, just the one thing as well is, as we saw in the game, just the double Soldier comp. Could it be good for some most like zones, but in something like Clan Blitz where it could be a lot of a stalemate, even though you are getting kills, you need to just remember that you need to have control for a lot of the time, which for the side of Squeeze, they didn't really seem to have it, but for See It Now, they had a lot of them in the bag, and with the synergy as well with specials, it just helped them so much. So we will not be seeing zones ship cargo because it's best of 3.
Absolutely. Just like that, now you see it, now you don't really, in our third seed, gonna move on into semis just like that. But I think, speaking of moving on, we might move on, Joe Ryan, into perhaps a little break, if I'm not mistaken. I might be.
Most likely we should be going to that because we do have another round coming in, but we